Hey, mama friend. Welcome back to Holistic Moms. I'm your host, Shan Wright. There's a trend on socials right now, or it has been for a little bit, where people share what they are struggling with. Now, I have a few podcast episodes planned out already, but before I went into those things, I thought I needed to get just real and raw with you. Okay. I sometimes struggle with the thought of I shouldn't say something or do something because I'm a wellness coach, and I shouldn't share it here because you would not want me to be your coach. And I just want to get away from that thought, and I want to just say no to that thought because that puts me right back into a perfectionist mindset. And I don't want to go there, and I don't want you to go there. I don't want to be that kind of an example. And I just need to trust that when you hear my confessions, it actually helps you lean in more to me as a coach, as a person that you can trust and relate to. And I don't have it all together all the time, and I want you to know that. And that is a dark road to go down, to think and try like you have it together all the time. So let's shine the light on my imperfections so you can see that I am just like you. And yeah, my prayer in sharing all of this is that you will trust me to be your wellness coach and your wellness accountability coach even more. You will see that I have a mentor too, and a business coach and a podcast coach. And we all need people in our lives to help us in that next step. I have a client that once said, I was looking for a life coach, actively looking, and you came into my life at just the right time. God knew you were the coach for me. This was one of my favorite reviews, testimonies, comments that I've ever received, because she was looking for something that she thought she knew she needed, and God pointed her to the right thing. And she was, I assume, in prayer about it, and he answered her prayer. So I don't know. Am I the answer to your prayer that you have been asking God for a solution to help you on something? And here I am in your earbuds right now. So if you are looking and aren't sure if I'm the coach for you or not, you can always message me or email me hello@theshanwright.com, or head to my website where you can see more details on what my coaching entails. That's at theshanwright.com/coaching. And as you will hear in this episode, I have been there. I'm still there in ways and on days, but it's that intentional action that I can hold you to being accountable and doing. You know the next step to take to be well. You just need that coach for encouragement and prayer and execution and accountability. So go right now to theshanwright.com to take that next step. Hey mama, are you stressed by the lack of time in the day to do all the things? Are you feeling disconnected from God, your husband, and even your kids because patience and presence seem out of reach? Do you want a healthier body, mind, spirit, and home, but overwhelmed in where to start? Hey, I'm Shan Wright, daughter of the king, wife, mom to 4, RN, wellness coach, and I know very well what it feels like to want to live well, but about to lose it with my very blessed full life. After realizing I can't pour from an empty cup, I tracked my way to whole body wellness and so much peace. If you are ready to cancel the stressed out life, learn tactical, intentional strategies as a mom wearing many hats, find more peace, confidence, and joy raising kingdom kids, then listen in. Come on, mama, together we got this. Really, God's got this. So go heat up that coffee again and turn your listening ears on. Let's chat. Sis, transitions are hard. Change is so hard. And as we change seasons and wrap up summer and head into fall, I wanted to share some things that I am struggling with for a few reasons. First, so you can relate. I want you to see that you're not the only one that feels this way or does that thing or struggles with this. James 5:16 says, Therefore, confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person has great power as it is working. I want to be healed. Do you want healing in your life? I know that we want that inner healing, that peace, and this is the first step. So here I am. I not only, confess to accountability partners and prayer partners, but I want to confess here for you for these reasons that you can see, that you can relate. And for number two, you can see my thought processes and how I self-reflect and am self-aware and the thoughts behind my struggles, because I want you to do the same. I want you to look at your own life and think about it, not just go about the day, but actually think and take these thoughts and feelings to God in prayer and then ask Him what to know and what to do about it. And third, what I am doing about it, how I am taking action, how I've already sought God on these things, and how I'm taking action, because I want to be an action taker, not just stuck in a season of hard or stalled out because everything else is changing around me and it's just too much and overwhelming. So I'm just going to stay right here in this stuck little season where I'm comfortable and where, I know the things. No, I want to push through. I want to push through the hard and take courage and take that next courageous step into the face of fear, whatever change I'm fearing, whatever is going on internally, those feelings I want to push through. And so I want you to watch my courage, come alongside of me in your courage and do it together. So those are the reasons why I'm sharing these things today. These are in no particular order as to importance, but number one, I think I have 7 here for you. Number one, my physical wellness and my body. I'm confessing that I have a heart wound that I'm going to be dealing with. And I say heart wound because this goes back, I don't know how far. I actually am doing the work. I'm in a study, a group. We're going through a book that I went through last year dealing with my financial wellness. And I'm going through it again for my physical wellness and for this lust of the flesh. And that is a big confession because that's really hard to say, because I've had healing in this area, and I lost all the weight and I felt really good about my body, and my body felt amazing and I felt good internally and externally, and I was where I wanted to be for a season. And then this came back and I realized that I kind of put a Band-Aid on this wound that is really a deep wound in my heart. And I wasn't sure what heart wound God wanted to heal in me next, but as I was going to prayer with Him about this, He showed me a vision of a cascading waterfalls. And He said, I want your mind to be free as this water flowing when it comes to food, or when it comes to thoughts about your food, your body, your eating style, all of it. I want your mind to be free, because He wants to put other thoughts into my mind. He wants to help me to progress in my purpose and my mission. And these thoughts are taking up space. They're taking up room and they're taking up precious real estate. Okay. So I agree with that vision. And I'm like, all right, Jesus, take me there. I want my mind as well to be really free flowing of the thoughts that you want to put there that will help me move forward on this path of healing and peace that you have me on. So here I am stepping into this heart wound of lust of the flesh. It is scary, but I am doing it with a group. And in that, there is so much peace. There's so much accountability that I know I did it last year and I found immense healing, and I know I'm going to find the same thing this year. So you aren't the only one who has negative thoughts about their body image, about their confidence in their body. You're not the only one. I am there too. And it's something that ebbs and flows in my life and seasons, even like different years at a time, it's worse. And it's to a point where I know there's a deep healing that needs to happen. So I'm going to go on this journey and I'll keep you posted. Number 2, while we're on the topic of food, is there's too much processed food in my house. Yeah. Now, I personally stay away from most of it, but I want to do a better job with my kids and their diets because they will be adults one day. And I want them to know the value of eating healthy and eating whole foods and eating this food that God placed on the earth for us, that so they don't have these wounds to deal with when they're older, right? These wounds on food and diet and all of it. And it just seems like a really big task. And I still need to process more on how to do this with God and what next baby step He wants me to take on this journey. I also have another confession in the food category. I don't always buy organic, and I don't make my own bread yet. You have heard that confession on the last episode with Jocelyn that I don't make my own bread yet, and I really want to. This is actually where I'm going to start and take action in this number 2 is I am going to start making bread. That's my baby step that I'm going to take as far as what I already know. But when it comes to my kids and their diets and all of that, I still have some prayer to do on that. What baby step we're going to take to make that not seem so overwhelming and like it's a lost cause. Number 3 is I talk on this podcast a lot about anxiety, and there's anxiety in the house. This house, there's a lot of anxiety and fear, and we are just in the middle of it. And that's why I talk about it on the show and why it's, the tagline is managing or simple wellness solutions to manage anxiety, because we're managing it here and we are not perfect. And right now we're in the thick of it. And what can be easy to do, because it's not me personally, is to not use my tools and strategies that I have taught here on the podcast, because those were what has worked for me. But when you try to teach them to a family member and without actually teaching, but in the moment say, just do this and do this, it doesn't work. So actually that's how I can help you, is lean into these tools and strategies now, or when you're not in the moment of anxiety, so that you can learn how to do them and practice them and ask God about them. And how can I do this when I am in the moment? Because when you're in the moment with that person or yourself, you can't just create a tool. You just have to already have it in your tool belt. Doesn't that make sense? Like, you can't run to the store and grab the tool. You have to have it strapped on you already and know how to do it. And so there are some things that I can come alongside my family members and do, like anointing with oil and binding and loosing and just praying and press that worship music on and start singing with them or over them. I can do those things, but I can't do the inner work for them. And so I want to encourage you, if you're struggling with anxiety or stress or overwhelm at any point. So there is a pendulum that swings, and we're all on that stress pendulum. And sometimes we are just in that happy middle where we get things done because we feel like the little pressure of we got to do it. But I think that there are seasons and circumstances where we all lean over into the exhausted, stressed out part of the spectrum, and we need these tools. And so lean into all my podcast episodes. I don't have one just to point you to, but lean into a bunch of them so that you can have the tools already in your toolbox. All right, number 4 is distractions on my phone. So my phone typically isn't somewhere where I find comparison or get discouraged, I typically follow, and I'm talking, I guess, social media. I typically follow a lot of people that encourage me or are like-minded, or we're in the same business, we're in the same area of life. And I don't know, I don't find a ton of discouragement there. But this is a new season, and right now I am. And I had to realize that. I had to realize my emotions are going on a roller coaster when I open up my social media apps. And so I've had to go to prayer with this. I went to God with prayer. What do I do? And he said, this isn't the time for you not to be on social media, but what I want you to do is use that unfollow button. And I've never really done that. I know friends who have done that, who have just been like, I unfollow everyone who I just feel any certain way about, and it's good for my soul. And I've never resonated with that until now. So I guess there's a season for everything, right? And I'm using that unfollow button, and I know that that is how I can still be present with that. I actually joined my podcast coach. So I have a podcast coach. I joined her because she was on her phone a lot and says how you can podcast and grow a business with only 2 hours a week on your phone, or 2 hours a week, and then you're not on your phone, and you don't do it with social media, and you don't use social media as your main source, but the podcast is the main platform. And I was like, wow, that would be great to be off of social media. Now, I am on social media. I have other avenues of my business, but I want to be on there a lot less. And you can help me with these efforts by sharing the show, because I find whenever I do get on social media and share a podcast episode in my stories or do a post about it, I do get a boost in listens on my show. And I don't want that. I don't want that to be a driving force for me. I don't want to say, oh, well, I'll get more listens if I go share my show now. So let me go on my Instagram and go share all about it. And then I get distracted by someone and something, and I'm on there for the next 30 minutes doing I don't know what. And so you can help me. You can help me in this by sharing the show with a friend. You can, if you're on social media, you can share it, but not even on socials. You can just share it word of mouth. You can share it in Facebook groups. So I have a Facebook group, and that's a place I am leaning in on social media, because you can so curate who is in there, who you're talking to, who you're hanging out with, and you don't get distracted. That's actually a place of growth and self-improvement, or self-growth and learning. So you can share it in the groups that you're in these other little hangout spots. I know a lot of moms talk about that. Like, what's a good podcast to listen to for moms? Or what's a good book to read for moms? Point them to my show. That would be so amazing and mean literally the world to me. Okay, number 5 is social wellness. I have not had great social wellness this summer. We have been traveling so much, and I haven't taken the time while, preparing for vacation, preparing for the trip, and while on the trip to plan out play dates or get-togethers once I get back. So because you're leaving for the trip, but this is what you have to do, especially in the summer. When you're leaving for the trip, you say, okay, I'm too busy, can't hang out with people this week. We got so much going on. Then we're gone for the next week. But that week after I will be home, let me get something on the calendar now. You know how it works in life. You have to plan it out far in advance if you want to do these things that you want to do. Or they come up and you're like, oh, I have nothing to do today. And then you text your friends, everyone's busy. Okay, so this is on me. I am going to start scheduling in my girlfriend outings, whether that's dinner or a walk or a coffee date, whatever it is. I need to schedule them in now for, I don't know, next week when I have a little bit more time. This is actually one of the 4 things that God gave me when I was in that deep, deep postpartum anxiety, was to make sure I had time with my girlfriends, just to be me and relax. And he knew that was good for my soul. And it still is. It's still one of my things that I need to decrease my anxiety and to have more relaxation and calm inside. And so I need to continue to do it. I need to continue to obey him and know that when I don't have this, I'm off in some way. And so I need to make this an effort. All right, number 6 is I do not have a toxic free home. Yeah, I don't like saying that, but it's true. We have a lot of toxins in our home that I would like to get rid of. And I've made big changes and efforts. But we still use some plastics in our kitchen. I use the microwave too much and synthetic materials on clothes and things. And so that is not something I like to say in this holistic health community. But I am going to be keeping an eye out for more glass and wood and ceramics on sale for my kitchen to replace the plastics. I have made a little baby dent in that area, so I'm going to continue those efforts. And number 7, I have been on an emotional roller coaster with managing all the things lately. Planning this fall school year, dealing with travel, handling family illnesses, and even pursuing entrepreneurship in new ways. This summer has been a doozy. And how to handle this is a little dependent on the schedule, which we end travel this weekend for the summer. Actually, it's today, which is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Then we start school on Wednesday. Then we will start to have a weekly routine for the kids, and I know this will help immensely. And then I have to start making sure what I'm going to do is journal all these burdens. Like when we feel we have something that's too trivial for God, and so it just stacks up on the other trivial thing that we don't take to prayer, and then the next trivial thing. And then before we know it, we are stressed out, our emotions are all over the place, and we feel these burdens and we don't know what to do. And so I am confessing I need to make sure I take all my little burdens over to God in prayer journaling, so I can ask him, what do I know? What do you say? What do I need to know? And what do I do about this? And I have an episode on this, actually. I need to listen to my own words, and that's episode 49. So you can go back to that to hear how I particularly journal with God in prayer. Yeah, I know this is going to change with time, like I said, but it also takes intentional effort and action. All right, so that was 7. Now, why does all of this matter to you? Why do you care about all that stuff? And how can this help you? You are listening to the show for something for you. So I want you to do a holistic, a whole body wellness self-reflection audit. What are you feeling? What does God say about it? What does God say about your feelings and thoughts? And what does he say to do about it? So yeah, I want you to do that journaling. So go listen to episode 49 and then do an audit. Look at each wellness area: physical, mental, social, emotional, spiritual, social. Did I say that? Occupational, environmental, financial. Look at each area and do an audit. Where am I off? What is not working? What do I need to take intentional action in? Do a self-reflection, do it with God. It will make all the difference in that next step that you take. And then I want you to take that next courageous step with me. And it would be so awesome if you came and shared this in the Facebook group. That's Holistic Living for Christian Moms on Facebook. Or you can go to bit.ly/holistic hacks and come share. Like I said, this is a social media trend. So be on trend and share with us your lowlights or just one confession. Remember the verse from the beginning, James 5:16, I believe. Therefore, confess your sins one to another and pray for one another that you may be healed. Come share it in the group. Let us pray for you. Let us encourage you. Let's do it together. Speaking of prayer, I pray this episode bless you today. May the God of peace be with you. Shalom, shalom. Hey, Wellness Warrior. I pray that blessed you. And if so, it would bless me big if you would write a 5-star review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Not only would this make me super happy, but it will allow for others to find this show too. Also, I love to chat over on Instagram, so make sure to take a screenshot, share to your Instagram stories, and tag me at @TheShanWright so I can see it and we can keep chatting and bring other moms to chat with us. Until we get to chat again, mama friend, may the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace.